Okay, so one of the biggest challenges under the stay-at-home ordinance has been learning how to deal with our children's emotions. In this video, we interview a top expert in the field of mindfulness and yoga for children to help us better understand what our children are thinking and how they're processing this new normal. So stay tuned.
Hey everybody, it's Adam and Dave from the Real Estate Dads.
Hey, what's going on? We continue our interview series today with another neighborhood small business spotlight with a very special guest, Kimberly Fujitaki of Little Heroes Yoga. Kimberly, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for allowing me to come on. I'm really excited to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I think this will be beneficial for a lot of parents and people taking care of kids, and kind of we're all experiencing a big change in our lives. And I know my son Eli, who's 3, he knows there's this new normal. We're not living the same way. We keep him busy and active, but he's got questions why he's not going to school, he's not seeing his friends, little things like that, why we're not going to the museum. And so, you specialize in practicing mindfulness and yoga for children. So we brought you on to discuss can help our children deal with this new normal.
Yeah, and I think that one of the number one things, especially for children right now, is discussing those things that you're saying. Like, why is this different? What are we doing to help each other right now? And when we're talking to kids about how they're helping by staying inside, it can alleviate some of those fears and some of those challenges right now about what this new normal is for right now. Children are also really adaptable. So, we think, oh my God, they're not doing this, they're not doing and they're not really thinking in terms of that. They're thinking moment by moment. So right in this moment, I'm missing my friends. So I'm gonna ask the question, why can't I go see my friends? Or I'm missing the fact that we used to go outside and do a lot of things. Why aren't we doing that? But that's not what's running through a 3-year-old's head every moment of every part of the day, right? So we have to put that into perspective and to see, right now this might be really challenging, but at the same time, they're learning and adapting to different skills and different environment as well. And so are we. So can we, bring mindfulness and yoga in pieces to our children that can help them to be more present in this moment? And that's why yoga and mindfulness can be beneficial to children of all ages. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be different, and their practice is going to look different as they grow older. And so right now for a 3-year-old, that mindfulness for them is asking those questions, being present with those feelings of like, I don't know what's happening. Can you tell me? And that's part of what we have to do as parents and educators, is to tell our children, in age-appropriate ways, what's going on.
Right. And so for the younger kids, we'll start with them. Are there any specific tools that you would suggest that we can do to practice this mindfulness?
Yes. So for young kids, giving them something that's visual for them to understand why they should be practicing mindfulness and yoga is going to be really helpful. So young children will benefit from, like right here I have, not everybody has this, but this is called the breathing ball. And so what the breathing ball does is it opens and it closes to show how our breath goes in our body and out of our body. So breathing is a really important thing that we can reinforce every day with our children to help them to calm down, to notice their body, and to be more present. So you could take a breath in and open the ball with our hands and breathe out and close it.
Throw it over here. Okay, I need to practice breathing myself.
And let's try it with our own hands. So even if you don't have the breathing ball, you can open your hands, breathe in.
Yeah, I do.
Close your hands, breathe out. Open hands, breathe in. Close hands, breathe out. So that's helping kids to notice their breath. And the breath is a huge indicator of how we're feeling, right? So if our breath is calm and steady, we feel calmer and steadier. If our breath is fast, like if you notice your child's hyperventilating because they're upset, or they're having a really hard time calming down because they don't want to go to bed yet, right? Because time is really weird right now. We don't have necessarily the same schedules as we would.
Right.
But the breath can help us to re-ground ourselves and refocus our attention. So using the breath as a breathing ball or with the hands. Another great thing, I have a flameless candle, is to turn the candle on and then blow it, turn the candle off. So then kids really, they gravitate towards blowing out the birthday candles, and they know, oh, I blow it out by going. So then that gives them something to focus on. Breathe in, blow out the candle, breathe out, right? So we have some tools that we can use. Same thing with, like, I have little pom-poms here. So sometimes we have these at home too. You can use anything that's little, or cotton ball, and you would blow those pom-poms out of the hand too. So that would be another way for us to practice our breath, blowing the pom-poms out, and to give us something to bring our attention back to our breathing. Mindfulness and yoga is the foundation of those are the breath, because that's what brings homeostasis to the body.
Right.
So whenever we're practicing, focusing on our breath, even if it's just little moments throughout our day, that can be really helpful if we're not able to do, a whole yoga practice. But now, luckily, there are so many things online, so many tools and resources that you can use. Even if you're not a yoga teacher, you can still share postures, and which are the poses of yoga. And a lot of kids really find, especially if they're stuck in the house, or you live in an apartment where there's no backyard, or it's raining, that you can move your body in a way that's really helpful to kind of get some of that energy out, because kids have so much energy and it's hard for them to be in one place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is all, it's all very interesting that it's simple practices, right?
Yeah.
But they have such significant impact on our kids and even us. I'm like, you're doing these things and I'm following along, and like, I'm feeling calmer with the breath.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what helps us too as parents. Like, we don't realize we're holding our breath all day because we have these new way of working and this new way of being, and we're just so tight and tense that, like, if you remind yourself, oh, I have to relax my shoulders and just take a breath for a moment, like, that it's something small, but it can be really helpful, powerful.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think with those tools that you were showing, it's funny because, my son, he'll go through these moments and we're like, okay, let's calm down. Let's take a deep breath, and we breathe and we count to 5, but that's still a little above. I mean, he gets it and does it, but I think if you provide him with that ball or something to do it, it helps them focus. And
it gives them
a little more
another
interactive
visual.
that way.
Yes.
And it connects them in a way that's a little bit different than, when we're already upset and we're already angry, and now somebody's telling us, calm down, take a breath. It's like, no, I don't want to do, I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah.
But if they have the tools when they're not in dysregulation, then they can use them when they are in it. And because it's more of a, it's a pattern. They use it, they come back to it. And so then they realize, oh, I'm feeling my heart beating really fast. What can I do to slow down my heart? Can breathe slower. So let's breathe slower. Or we want the heart to beat a little faster because you want that energy to go out. So let's run in place, or let's do a downward dog and kick our legs up, something that can move that energy in our body. Right. And those things can be small things we can do to help us to manage those big feelings and expectations and things that are challenging us right now. Mm-hmm.
So can we do this all day long?
Right, Adam? I'm telling you, it's helping us right now. We really did this for us, Kimberly. Forget our kids.
And I wanted to share one more tool. These are very popular right now. I have a YouTube video that I can show you about how to make them. But this is, a lot of people call this a calm down jar, or I call it mindfulness jar. And so what the mindfulness jar looks like in the beginning is a clear liquid, right? And then something is shaking up our jar. So that could be our expectations, our feelings, our wife, our kids, our everything that's going on in our lives right now, right? But if we take a breath and we watch the glitter start to settle, we settle too. then it starts to give us a little bit more ease, and we can respond instead of react to what's happening. Because that's what's happening right now, is we're all under a lot of stress. So we're reacting. Don't do that. Don't do this. Da, da, da. You know, like it's snapping because it's hard for us.
Yeah.
But if we realize that we take a breath and start to slow down, then the jar starts to become clear again like this. And we come back to that space, because we're not always upset. We're not always excited. We're not always happy. Like our feelings are shifting and changing. And so this can be a great visualization for children. When they're small, like Eli, I would use a plastic jar. You can use a plastic one, so then he can shake it and you don't have to worry about it breaking.
Yeah.
But, you know, giving our kids more visualizations, more ideas of how they can deal with their feelings and their emotions, and talk about those feelings and emotions is going to be beneficial, because even though he's small, he's still taking cues from us, you know, even still feeding off of our energy, even though he doesn't have the words for it.
Right.
So when we can bring tools that help us calm down, so we're not reacting all the time to our kids too, we're in a space where it's a little bit easier for us to manage and discipline and see, how are they really doing? How am I really doing? Like, I'm losing my mind right now. So if I'm losing my mind, how do I expect him to hold it together? You know, and it's okay. It's everybody. There's no right way to feel right now, you know, when it's changing all the time. But we need tools. We need our breath. We need to do some physical exercise, whether it's inside or out, to take care of our bodies. And even if we're not doing it every day, something, we have to keep moving, you know, keep moving ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. What about?
Yeah, I kind of want a jar everywhere in the house now.
Yeah, one room, this one, one room, this one. Keep shaking it, watch it, relax. Maracas.
Adam's got 2 little ones, so he's gonna need twice the jars. So.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is fantastic for little kids, and I mean for adults, for older kids. But is there anything? So let's say people that are watching right now, or will watch this, they have older children, maybe 5, 6, 7 to 10.
Yeah.
Are there? What can they do? I mean, they can be a little bit. That's where yoga, maybe the practice.
Yeah, yoga practice itself can start to really develop. But also, I want to say that yoga and mindfulness are not one size fits all. It's not going to work for everyone. Some kids really love yoga. Some kids hate yoga. You know, like it's something that we have to offer to children and see what they're going to do. A lot of times right now, I'm seeing a lot of people being like, my kids need meditation, they need focus, and they're rebelling against that because it's not being offered, it's being pushed on them. And right now we have so many expectations that are being pushed on us that it can be really detrimental for a child to be like, you have to do yoga right now. So offering them something to try and to see, even if you, with your parents, like if you guys did it together, that might entice the children to be able to do it too. Depending on your child, they might want an activity where they can do something by themselves right now too. So we're gonna have to really notice what is beneficial for our child and talk to them about it. So, right here, I have some resources too. Like there are a lot of yoga books. This one is called Breathe Like a Bear. I'll give you the title because it's probably backwards in the Zoom, by Kira Willie. And she has a lot of great breathing exercises for kids that have like a storytelling element to it. So it's not just like breathe in, breathe out. It's like, let's breathe like a bear. What does a bear sound like? What does a bear feel like? And gives them a little bit of time to associate those things with that. Also actually getting into the postures, the movement of yoga. There's books. This is the ABC of yoga for kids. This is fantastic. So it goes ABCs, and then each ABC has a pose that's associated with it. So cool. It's very easy to practice, cobra pose, cow pose. You could do these with your kids. And so then it also gives you something to go off of instead of just being like, oh, I have to think of some yoga for them to do. Yeah. There are also so many yoga teachers are offering live streaming kids yoga classes where you can connect with with children, other children online to practice yoga too.
Yeah.
So that might be something that's really beneficial for kids to practice, you know, with a friend or someone else. I do private classes like that where, you know, I will go on my phone and have a couple small group of kids together so that they can practice too. That's another way of connecting with yoga. And, you know, one of the most famous online yoga classes for kids is Cosmic Kids Yoga. And Cosmic Kids Yoga is a woman named Jamie. She's in a green screen and she does yoga storytelling. And that's really fantastic, and it's all free on YouTube.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can, so you can practice some yoga there for free and see if it's something that's interesting for your children before you decide to, you know, put money into things that they might not like yet. So exposing them to something, you know, and giving them tools like books. Some kids like books better. Some kids like videos better. Some children, you know, so there's a lot of different things we can do to explore mindfulness and yoga for children of all ages.
It's fantastic. Those are great resources.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. We have to find the positive and the silver lining and all this negativity and how scary this can be. And all these tools that you've just talked about, we're all close together now, under the same, you know, we're hours and hours together. We can practice this and take the time to do it. So when things get back more to normal, they'll have these tools to take with them to use in their normal daily lives, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can build on the things that we're doing now and, you know, and not stress ourselves out. I think I've seen a lot of parents too feel like stressed to like make it better. And, you know, sometimes right now it's what it is. And we have to be, that's what mindfulness means, to observe our thoughts, feelings, and emotions without judging ourselves. Right now, there's so much judgment, like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not my child's teacher, and I don't know what they're learning. And there's so much doubt that it's really difficult on a lot of people. And adding more on top of that can make it really hard, you know? So like giving ourselves a little bit of space, you know, to choose things that can help our children. And maybe that's right now just snuggling together on the couch for a little bit, you know, like that's okay.
Yeah. Well, this has been great, Kimberly. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge with us and giving us actual practical tools to use. And we'd love to have you back and maybe even go over a little bit of a yoga session. And
yeah, that would be wonderful. I would love that. Yes. And, you know, just stay kind to yourselves, you know, in this moment and just doing our best to get through it. And thank you guys so much for giving resources to families, because that's really important right now. And I know that, you know, at some point we're going back to a new normal probably, but it's going to be better and we're going to be able to make it through. And it's like you guys for bringing people together and giving them information. I just want to thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're going to put your information, some of your social media channels down below so people can contact you and see what you have to offer.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.